Yeah, just keep going.
Grip and rip it, dude.
Because we talk and then we do an intro.
No, yeah.
No, Ripley's. So they hired me on to do the gig in general, but then they were like, "Yeah, we really want to get into like the music world." And I mentioned that we were about to go on this next tour, and we started talking about sponsorship. So they might actually like wrap our bus in some Ripley's stuff, and then kind of half pay for it, so that we can get like a super dope coach.
Yeah,
and that'd be
sick,
super sick.
It's kind of so I remember Ripley's from like when I was a fucking kid, right? So what are they doing now? Like I saw the house, like I know, like what is their?
I mean, they have a ton of museums. There is, as far as the thing I was supposed to talk about today, I'm giving away some tickets today on Instagram.
Thanks, dude. Thanks,
they
man.
have,
for me. Thanks, bro.
Comment below.
Oh, 1 second. Got it.
100 attractions in 11 different countries.
Fuck.
But they still have all their attractions, and they're just trying to kind of rebrand in a bit, and they have some new stuff coming out next year that I shouldn't talk about, but they are going to be doing some stuff next year. And the reason they're doing this tour is it kind of branded well together. Like you think about Nitro Circus, all these dudes
crazy
doing
motherfuckers,
crazy stuff, and it's like kind of works. Even though Ripley's is like, you know, look at this crazy, believe it or not, shrunken head from like hundreds
it's
of
his head, it's Kade.
Hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
But then you link it in with Nitro,
right?
And it's like you see these dudes doing new tricks, like random stuff that you wouldn't think was possible, and so it like kind of works out. And Ripley's has a branded one of the segments in the show is like a contraption thing where they're flying couches and bathtubs and all that stuff.
So
and they have,
dude, that jet ski was
the branded one is the jet ski. He flips a jet ski, and it's like
fucking nuts.
Yeah, and so
it was overstimulating.
It's super wild.
There was so much going on,
and that's what's cool about it. And so, like when I first heard about that they were branding it together, I was like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, it's not necessarily the exact image of what you think Ripley's Believe It or Not is, but it works out because if you just think about the tagline of like, you know, Believe It or Not or whatever they're doing, it's like these dudes are. If you were to be like, hey, do you think someone could front flip a snowmobile? You'd be like, I don't know if I could believe that. And then they're like, bam, look at it. And this guy front flips a snowmobile. And it's wild. That was really cool. So this was the third show. The first two shows were sick, but that wasn't part of the show last night. And I was watching, and they were like, we have a local veteran from Minnesota that's about to front flip a snowmobile. And I was like, I haven't seen this yet. And I was like, let me see. And the dude, you know,
that was a hell of a
landed
story.
on the side, but he kept onto the handlebars and did it. And I was like,
he broke his
leg last year.
Yeah.
In June. Last year, June, tried it, broke his leg. This year came back and
looked like he kind of fucked his knee up a little. He was limping a little bit, but
I mean, he still landed.
Dude,
it's wild.
So is he getting like paid off a trick like that?
I don't know the logistics of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, super wild.
He has to.
I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I thought the show was great.
It was
insane.
It
was insane.
It basically made me realize how I dislike X Games now. No offense, but I go Nitro Circus. I don't think gets the props. Because I didn't know what to expect, to be honest with you. And then I went there and I was like, this is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It was rad. So
should we start this off officially?
Let's do this.
Light it up.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Iron and Think podcast. We got a special guest here in the
got a tasty treat over there across the table.
In the Iron and Think studio, Mr. Jake Garland. He is the drummer for a band.
He does wicked beats,
dude. He bangs on the drums.
All the beats.
For Memphis Mayfire. You're on tour right now with Nitro Circus.
Yep.
Came through Minneapolis yesterday, so we were like, hey, let's hang out. And we did.
Let's do things.
We actually spent the last 3 days together.
Yeah.
We're
been sick.
We're going steady now.
Yeah.
We're dating.
So thank you so much for coming in. It's
thanks, homie.
It's good to see you again. We haven't seen you since you guys came through on tour. Was it summer?
Fire from the Gods and shit.
Yeah.
Those guys. And who else was on that bill?
Seven Dust, us, Fire from the Gods, and then Madam Mayhem.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Nice.
So thank you for stopping by, hanging out with us. And we're just gonna chit chat about stuff and get real deep and into Jake's personal life and his and his dreams and aspirations and what you want to do with your life, because clearly you're not really doing anything right now, so you got some room for growth. And
been spending too much time at that rock bottom, man.
Yeah, man, that place has been
those macaroni cheese balls looked so good.
I gave one to the person sitting next to me.
Yeah,
I swear to God.
Did you?
Yeah,
that's pretty dope.
So when I was talking to you guys about coming here earlier, I was sitting there and a group of there was one guy quietly sitting next to me. We kind of chit chatted a little bit, and all of a sudden 3 people rushed in, and apparently they were working somewhere downtown and were going to see a play of Hamilton.
Yeah.
Everyone's been going nuts. They rushed in and they were like, ah, and they were all talking and they're like hanging out, and I, kind of wheezed my way into the conversation. I was like, hey,
oh, you guys like Hamilton too, eh?
Yeah.
Me as well.
And started chatting, and they were like, oh, dude, your food looks so good. And they just had drinks and stuff. And I was mid-bite into one of those mac and cheese bites, right after I'd posted the photo of it, just being like, of course these are mac and cheese bites. What else do you guys think I would eat?
Right.
And it was a huge plate. Whatever food I got, the little bratwurst thing, it said it came with a little side of mac and cheese bites, and they brought out this platter of them.
Welcome to Minnesota.
And
well, because you've been hitting that spot every day.
Dude, take one. They're so good.
Yeah.
And the dude just took it, bit in, and he was stoked about it.
And then I ordered them.
Good start to the morning, right?
That's a good thing, man. I think more people
making
need to do
friends, Minnesota, hanging out.
You know what's funny?
Everyone's get so nice.
No, it's the whatever. It's the passive aggressive.
Fucking passive aggressive people.
The thing is, though, there was a guy. Legitimately, I think it depends on location. I'm a pizza fiend, and the guy he had a good looking pie on his table, and I was sitting there, and I'm like, oh man, I should have fucking ordered what that guy had. Kind of what we did at Red Rabbit. It was very similar to that situation.
That spicy salami.
Dude looks at me and he just stares and he goes, "You want one, dude?" And I'm like, "Sure, I'm gonna go for it. Is that cool?" He's like, "Yeah, man, here you go."
I feel like sharing, obviously when we went out to dinner to Red Rabbit, we're all sharing stuff. You guys let me have an oyster and a meatball and all that. And it's great. We're trying sips of each other's drinks and stuff like that.
Sharing is caring.
But if you get with a stranger, if you're at somewhere where you don't know and you're with another stranger and you guys have the conversation where you're sharing food, that's a pretty good moment.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It's key.
It's bonding at a new level. You know?
I feel like that's a good sign of friendliness in a city where someone's sitting next to me, they're like, hey, you want a piece of my food that I'm really enjoying right now? And I don't know you at all. And
yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It needs to happen more often.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't like sharing my food.
Yeah, I know.
I don't. If I don't have a large quantity of food, I'm not about sharing it.
I know.
Because Jeff, every time we get pizza, we talk about pizza a lot on this podcast because it's our thing.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
But I don't stray from the path. I'm very
banded.
I know what I want, and I want sausage and pepperoni pizza, because if you go somewhere and you order sausage and pepperoni pizza, it's the worst it's going to be is, or it could be fantastic. You go out and you buy
so boring.
You buy some crazy ass pizza.
From
dude, you
Red
should have
Rabbit?
gotten that salami stuff. You should.
Yo, perfect time to post about this on the podcast. I'm gonna call out right now. So you guys all know that I've talked about the thing from Cowboy Jack's, the macaroni and cheese pizza for years.
Yes. Yeah.
So my friend Casey, that's on the tour with me, the same night we went to Red Rabbit, told me, he's like, "Oh, I'm about to go to Cowboy Jack's and grab some food if you want to come." And I was like, "Yo." For the past 4 years, I've been going to there and getting the mac and cheese pizza. Go get it. And he goes there and he texts me and said, it is off the menu.
Oh my God!
What's up? Why? Damn. Why would they do that? And so I told you today that I was going to go there and kill some hours and get that pizza. And now I'm probably never going to go there again.
And last time I recommended...
Sorry, and if I'm wrong by any chance, and maybe they were just out of it that night, then I hope that's the case. But if they legit took that off the menu,
it's off the menu,
I will
Jake.
say on air right now that I will not be back there because that was the best item I've. So it's literally I post a photo there every time I come through in Minnesota.
Part of you just died. And Mesa Pizza, it's off the mac and cheese isn't nearly as good.
I know
heated.
I know the manager.
Hoodie's coming off.
I know the manager at that location, and I will send them a text message and get the dirty details on that.
Right?
See if it's going to be coming back. But yeah, that's.
What was it? Mac and cheese pizza?
Yeah,
we're googling it right now.
Yeah,
that's extremely disappointing.
We're using the Google tool.
It's the internet.
Yeah, I don't know if you can pull up the menu. Oh, I mean, we could call him right now on the air.
Should call him.
Should I call him on speaker?
Like, what?
And just ask?
Fuck.
Hey, are you guys serving that?
How funny.
Oh, I pulled up Jack's frozen pizzas. Jeez, that's a fuck.
No, is this... I mean, this is going to make a great...
Cowboy Jack's.
A great part on...
Downtown.
Do you need the number? I got the number.
Oh, I've already
He's already got it.
Thank you for calling Cowboy Jack's Minneapolis.
You're not going to
I already know the extension.
Yeah, you're not going to be...
Me too.
Put it up to the mic. Hi, this is Susie.
Oh my god.
If they say no...
Man.
Are you going to do like an accent or something?
That's a big mistake.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey there, I have a question about the menu. Do you guys still have that mac and cheese pizza?
We don't.
Oh! Done.
Oh, you hung up. Dude, over. That's gnarly. That's
wow.
Damn,
she's so upset
right now. Wait, what do you think she's doing right now? She goes,
what if she calls back?
Now I'm kind of heartbroken. But
Wow. Looks like you guys are skipping tour.
Great intro. How about that?
Yeah. Looks like you guys just skip around Minnesota.
They go, hey guys, we have a routing for the next tour. Jake's like, fuck Minneapolis. We're not going.
Yeah. That's the only reason I come. Cowboy Jack's stock just dropped.
I hope that was loud enough to hear because that was a great start.
Right now she's like, what the fuck happened? Tells her boss, like, these guys pranked me.
Why did we take that off the menu?
Like, these guys... Yeah, I'm looking right now, dude. It's not even on there. No menu.
I mean, you just heard from
she didn't even give her name.
The chief in action. Hi, what's your name? Who decided to take this item off the menu?
I'm looking... Oh, dude, it looks amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I have photos every time I'm there.
It's great.
Are you like that guy when we went to eat and he had the fucking flash on and he's like,
oh my god,
blinding us because he's doing selfies with his food items? Don't
Did
be
you
that
see
guy.
that?
Here, look. Is this the camera we're using?
Yeah.
Peep that.
Yummy.
You can get in closer. You can get in
Get
closer.
it closer. Zoom it in.
There it is.
Oh, it's so good.
For all you people just listening, you better watch this.
Rest in peace, macaroni and cheese pizza.
We should do a shirt, and then we'll mail it to you, Jake.
Please.
Like a custom.
Yes.
It's Jake.
I'll
like,
send you that photo. Print me. I want a photo of me holding the pizza.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
crying.
That's good.
A one of one.
That's great.
All right, pizza aside.
Spring line.
All right, so let's get a little. I think we should get a little background on you because obviously you're in a very large band, Memphis Mayfire. You guys
large, like physically, or
I mean, we're all tiny.
You guys, you got two large gentlemen in your band.
Just one.
Strong guys. Strong guys.
Kellen's strong. Kellen's strong. But he's maybe a...
Corey looks like an actual lumberjack.
Yeah, he's a very large man, and he goes hard on the bass. So, and you guys got some new music coming out. You guys just dropped a single, 2 weeks ago?
Ish.
2 weeks ago?
You got me. I don't know the exact date, but
it's good.
So I'm interested. How did you get your start into music? Was it scene? Was it something you started out young or kind of developed over time?
So it's actually kind of wild because normally 9 times out of 10 you get the musician that's like, I knew I wanted this, I strived for it, I did everything possible to do it. And what's funny is like when I was in high school, I had so many different, so I started playing music when I joined middle school. I got into 6th grade and you could either do, their choices were band or
choir.
The wheel. which was elective wheel. So each like month you did like shop and then like home ed and then like painting and then all this other stuff. And so I was like, I like music, so I'll go into band.
Nice.
So I tried out. I was like, drums would be cool. So they gave me a pair of drumsticks and they like had me actually, believe it or not, do a paradiddle.
Oh,
which
wow.
If you know what that is, like the, the stick.
Paradiddle. Yeah, that's all I got right now.
They told you what it was and they said, try it. And can't remember the exact thing, but I think I did it pretty well. And she was like, oh, wow. Like, yeah, you're good. You should do this if you're down.
Yeah.
And so I did. So I went through middle school. I went through high school. And I mean, in all these times, I had a portion where I was in my basketball team. I thought I was going to be in the NBA.
Hell yeah.
And finally,
how'd that work out?
By the time I stopped growing, I thought my parents were like, hey, you're like 5'8". You're, unless you're the next,
the dream's gone, Jake.
Unless you're the next Muggsy Bogues, it's not going to happen. Yeah. And so I was like, all right, I'll give up on that. So I started doing, ironically, why I'm so intrigued by the Nitro Circus thing that I'm on right now is I started action sports stuff. I got a BMX bike. I got a skateboard. I did inline skates. I'd go to the skate park every day, try it out.
Sounds like broken bones right there.
I wasn't that great at that either.
So just a lot of failure in your life.
Yeah. I mean,
him and I have the same story.
To be honest, it's like
it's identical.
There's nothing better than that. Like keep trying, and
for sure.
Like so many people, even at, like in an older age, like try something and it doesn't work out, and they're like, man, I suck. Like I'm a failure. Like this isn't working. And it's like it doesn't matter how long it takes. It's just you're trying something until you realize what is your calling.
Right.
And so I was this whole time that I was looking for all those new aspects of life and careers, I still was playing drums, but I was just like, oh, I'm never going to be a drummer.
Yeah.
And I was even in bands. And then by the time I graduated high school, I was in a band I had started a band called Broadway, and we played throughout Florida. We were a local band. And, by the time I graduated high school, I went to school for music at the University of Central Florida.
Oh, very cool.
And I went for music. I was in the drum line there. It was awesome.
Oh, shit. So you were straight up like hat and everything.
That's tough. That's a totally different level.
I mean, honestly, the year and a half I spent at UCF was like how high school was good, but it's like they don't expect you to be some like prodigy drummer.
Right.
So
they're only going to take you so far.
So once I got to college and they threw so much at me, I was like, I'm going to go for it. And I learned so much. I learned how to sing. I learned how to play piano and like all this other stuff. And at that time, I still was like, I'm going to school for music, but I don't know what I'm going to do. Like basically all you can do guaranteed with a Bachelor of Arts in Music is become a high school band teacher. And I was like, I know I don't want to do that. And surprisingly, one of the things I thought maybe I could try and do is at Universal, they have the like Blue Man Group show. And I was like, maybe I could get in and be like part of the backing band there. And I was like, that'd be cool. And so within the year that I was doing college, by the end of my first semester, Broadway, my band, got a record deal offer, and we got offered to be signed and do a record at a studio and go on tour. And I went to my professor and I was like, hey guys, this just happened. What do you think? And they were like, surprisingly, they were like, yeah, you should go for it.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
And they were like, if it doesn't work out, you can just come back to the music program.
Very cool.
And I was like, okay, thank you. Like, that's not what I expect. Of course,
you're not going to make it.
You're under the impression that they would be like, no, school, college, don't drop out. And they were like,
props to those teachers, man. That's sick.
Jeff Moore, who has...
Shout out to Jeff Moore.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
He was awesome. And, but yeah, so we did and toured with Broadway for a little bit. And as I mentioned to you guys before, off mic, I started the band with Jack Fowler, who's in Sleeping with Sirens now. And so we toured as Broadway for a little bit. We did a bunch of different tours with a bunch of different bands, probably full time for about 2 years. And the last tour we did was with Memphis Mayfire. I basically met those dudes, and I part-time worked at a studio called Chango Studios in Florida due to my college background, and that I knew programming and I knew singing and I knew music. And so I was like kind of assistant engineering there. And so Memphis toured, and they were like, hey, we really like you. Our drummer is actually leaving, and we need someone to do it. We're actually coming. This was pre-Hollow for the fans that follow the band. And they were like, we're coming to Chango in a couple months to record our new album, The Hollow. We'd love to have you help. And so I did. Actually, they were recording their EP called Between the Lies, which I wasn't a part of, but Kellen had fully recorded already. And then when they actually came in to do the full LP, Hollow, then that's kind of where I came into play. And it's a really funny story that has been mentioned in a couple of interviews, but since we have time to kind of explain the whole thing, like that tour that I did with them while I was still in Broadway, me and Matty bonded a bunch, and he was always like, he was kind of, I don't want to say cocky because I love Matty and he's not that dude, but at the time he was like, yo, you're sick, you're going to be my drummer. And I was like,
that's awesome.
I was like,
it's confidence, bro.
I was like, nah, dude. I like my band. I'm good. I'm in Orlando. Like, I love my Broadway band. Like, my dudes are cool. He's like, no, you're going to be my drummer. And I was like, dude, you're wild, dude. You're crazy. And then, like, he kept saying it. And then when it came time to do the Hollow album, I didn't necessarily help too much on the album because Kellen, our guitar player, pretty much writes everything, and he programmed 99% of the drums. But since I was helping record the album, I had like a couple instances where I would like help do some little production stuff. Like one of the chorus lines in The Sinner, which was a big song, I kind of helped be like,
that's a great song.
I was like, hey, instead of like this vocal melody, maybe like do this rhythm, and it's actually one of the rhythms that's stuck in the chorus. And they were like, once they heard it, they were like, oh, wow, like, dude, that was sick. Like, thanks for the help and all that.
You kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah. Sick. And, of course, then they were like, hey, so we don't have a drummer. We have to go to Texas and play a couple shows. Do you want to? And I was like, I'll play these few shows, but I'm with Broadway dudes. Like, I can't leave them.
I'm committed.
And I'll do these few shows. And Matty's like, dude, stop playing, dude. He's like, you're going to be my drummer. You're going to be my drummer.
Dude, he's manifesting.
And I was like, nah, dude. I was so stubborn because, of course, like, you know, once my music career started, I was like so driven on that dream. I was like, this is my band that I was with. And yeah, it's my baby. And that album, Kingdoms, that we put out was like, I wrote a lot of it and was even guitar and vocals and stuff, like, you know, production wise. And I was stoked on it, so I didn't want to admit that it was kind of on the downfall. But once it did, I, of course, to end the long story, ended up joining Memphis Mayfire, Jack Fowler, who ended up joining Sleeping with Sirens, who, same kind of thing. They Sleeping started a band and went to Chango, and Jack helped write some stuff, and then he kind of just took off with that band. But it's good. We both got into new bands and we still hang out. He actually just moved to Nashville, so I don't see him as much, but
it's interesting.
That's kind of how it started.
I did notice that a lot.
But of course, to end the story too, Matty did get his way. Yeah. And that's one of his favorite stories.
Did he give you a lot of shit?
Probably still to this day.
And I was like,
Matty manifested.
See, when you manifest that shit though, like for real, like if you like put it out there, I mean, I believe in that shit, you know, and he did. Yeah. I mean, we talk about some people call it cocky. I mean, I'd say more confidence, and like he knows what he's wanting.
Yeah.
And you go for it, and then other people jump on that wave of like, you know, you did see his drive of what, you know, and it just worked out.
I think that's one of the things that makes a successful band is like someone that you have to know what you want and go for it. And it's like, even as something as small as a member,
right?
Like, you could see his vision was, this is the band I want. This is the album we're going to record. This is what I want. I see this drummer. He needs to be in this band. Yeah. This is what's going to make us well. And of course he got me to join, and that's when the Hollow came out. And that was kind of, you know, we had like, the band had EPs and albums before on a different label, Bullet Tooth and Trustkill, whatever it was before. But it's like, really, the Hollow is when the band took off. And I joined, and that was basically the four of us that are in the band now were there when the Hollow started. And
now you're going to release your fourth, fifth, seventh?
I think it was, so technically Sleepwalking before I was in the band was the first. Then it was the Hollow, Challenger, Unconditional, This Light I Hold. So maybe it is fifth. I don't know. I can't. Well, actually, so there's two EPs. There's the first EP with a prior singer, and then the Between the Lies EP. So technically seventh release, If I'm doing the math right, 5th
full album. Yeah. You know what's interesting about that though?
6th full length.
But you got that new coming out November 6th.
Yeah. November 16th.
16th.
Add one to that. Close. Well, at least I'm in the fucking month, Give me that. But
yeah, man.
No, the one thing I was going to say that's
long travel.
That's interesting is about being in bands is that even though you're touring and this and that, how small the industry is.
It's crazy.
Because we were talking earlier. You're like, oh, I know that person. You're like one person away from knowing somebody. You know what I mean?
Constantly.
And it's cool.
I mean, two wild examples of that is like anything sort of in the entertainment industry is like, for example, that I'm on this Nitro Circus tour.
Right.
Is that happened totally random through Ripley's Believe It or Not, through a friend in Orlando that I basically got hired on because I've toured before and just doing some production work. But one of the riders that's on the tour, Ryan Williams, me and Maddie have been talking to and friends with for a bit, just due to we have this underwear endorsement called Ethica.
Yep,
that
great product.
Our band is endorsed by, and a lot of action sports riders have that endorsement. And so last year when we were on the Warped Tour, we were in Salt Lake City, and our rep texted me and was like, "Yo, you guys are in Salt Lake City?" And we're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yo, the Nitro World Games are in Salt Lake City. Uber over here after you play, and you can get in and watch the show."
Wow!
So we did. That's when we saw Ryan Williams do all his crazy stuff, and he's insane. And so we started chatting, and so coincidentally now I'm on this tour. I run into him again, and I'm like, "What's up, dude?" He's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I'm doing production for Ripley's Believe It or Not." It's like totally random coincidence, and it's like everything can work out so wild. I think one of the wildest interactions we've had with another person in the entertainment industry is one of actually Maddie's favorite stories is him and his wife watch this show called Pretty Little Liars a lot.
Hell yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, and I don't watch it, but the teacher, the guy
Ezra, I think his name is in the show.
Yeah. The guy teacher.
Yep.
His name's Ian Harding in real life. Was it that? Or is it Mr. I thought it was Mr. something.
I think his first name is Ezra and it Mr. something.
Okay. But so one of the coolest stories we've ever seen is that, so Ian Harding is an actor. He's an awesome dude. Their favorite show this was maybe I think it was 2015. They're watching ABC Family.
Ian Harding.
And Ian Harding.
What's his character in the show? Let's find out.
Yeah, you can find out while I'm chatting. But they're watching ABC Family, and they're watching an interview. And this is a world-renowned actor, huge show. And they're just watching live TV, and they're like, "Oh yeah, how's life? How's movies? How's TV?" And then they're like, "What kind of music are you into?" And he was like, "Oh, I've been recently getting into heavy metal. There's this band called Memphis Mayfire that I'm really liking." And their jaws dropped to the floor. And he was like, "Holy crap, what the heck?" And
that's so cool.
And so he had our manager reach out to him and be like, "Yo, we just saw this interview. We would love to meet you." The dude responded. Maddie flew out to LA, had lunch with him that year on Warped Tour. Ian came out to Warped Tour to watch the show, met up with us, super nice dude.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I want to go in the pit and watch some shows." So we were like, but he was like, "Listen though, I'm my body, and
this is my money maker.
I'm gonna give myself a filter. I'm totally wrong on maybe some of the stuff I'm about to say, but basically he was like, my body is contracted. If I get hurt, I can get fined.
Oh yeah, no,
because I can't act anymore. So he was like, I got to be careful.
Right.
And so we basically bodyguarded him into the stage sound. We watched Asking Alexandria play, and of course people were like, "Are you on Pretty Little Liars? Why are you at Warped Tour?" And
why are you in the pit,
and
bro?
He was the nicest dude, but kind of on the basis of how close the industry is. It's
it's all
we meet actors, we meet other musicians,
the last time,
action sports stars. Yeah,
it is Ezra.
Yeah.
Ezra Fitz.
I was right. Yeah, Mr. Fitz.
Mr. Fitz. Yes. And his actual name is Ian Harding.
Ian Harding, yeah.
Well, the last time you were in town,
super nice dude, awesome.
We were chatting.
Good looking guy. Good looking guy.
He's super handsome.
Unreal.
I made sure to get a little selfie with him and post it on Instagram, and everybody was like, "What are you doing with this guy?"
I mean, you can
now?
do that with me today, and I'm sure you'll get way more likes. But whatever, it's in the same wheelhouse, but it's cool.
Well, the last time you were in town and you guys were on tour, we hung out. You were talking about Post Malone, like being a fan of you guys, like
face tats.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Jake, face tats. When are we committing to this?
Stay woke.
Stay woke, fam.
I don't know if I could ever do it.
This is getting up there, but this is
Maddie's on the fence. He's talked about getting, because he's from Washington. He's thought about getting like a little outline of the Washington state.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's
pretty
do that.
though. Don't do it.
I don't know if he's gonna be mad that I said
do it, Maddie.
Like
commit to it.
But yeah, I don't. I'm still a no on the neck up.
Really?
I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. Yet. I was that way with the hands.
Got this.
I had my hands cut off right here for a bit, and then I eventually was like,
literally, I'm like, bro, you're a drummer. What are you doing? You cut your hands off? What?
But eventually did it. So I'm not sure, but. Yeah, Post Malone too. I mean, how crazy is that? Like, he's one of my favorite people in the industry I've ever met. Like, so basically, I got in contact with that dude a while ago when he was on the Justin Bieber tour. I had a homie in Orlando. His name is Mike Busey. He's part of the Busey family, but he does some stuff in Orlando.
Like Gary?
Yeah.
Gary? Oh, jeez. That's a family.
But he knows... he was homies with Post for a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he came into town and was like, "Oh, dude, like, Post really likes your band." And I was like, "Really?" And he like gave me his number, and I would talk to him a little bit, and he was on the Bieber tour, and he was like, I texted him, and he was like, "Holy crap, man, dude, it's an honor to talk to you." And he's on tour with Justin Bieber, and he'd like FaceTime me like in the evening, and I would be like, "What's up, dude?" And he's like, "Dude, what's up?" Like, he's like, "Can I meet Maddie really quick?" And I'd like show Maddie, and he was like, "Yo, what's up?" And so I kind of came to learn that he's from Texas, where like Kellen and them grew up.
Yeah.
And, or just Kellen, not Kellen and them, but Kellen grew up, and he played in bands, and he's like a huge metal fan.
Right.
That's like
and
his
so
thing.
he was a fan of Memphis. And so eventually he, blew up, and I lost contact with him. But just recently, me and
you
Maddie
want his number? I got it.
Got back into contact with him, and Maddie went out to one of his shows in Nashville, and Post was like, "Dude, it's an honor meeting you." And we're like, "Dude, you're
Post Malone.
You're
Posty."
Yeah. And he's so
huge,
humble,
bro.
and he doesn't. Not that I would assume that he doesn't get how successful he is, but he's not fazed by it. He's the most humble dude. I've seen, hung out with him in person, and he's just like, "What's up?" Yeah. Like, plays guitar, he sings. He's like, grew up in Texas and started playing music, and he's like, "I love your band," and we're like, "We love your album." Like,
I listened to that today.
Like 5 million people.
That's all I listened to today was Post Malone, which is crazy.
And it's incredible, and I love that about the music industry.
Yeah.
I just love that for a guy, like, I'm pumped on the fact, like, I still have a lot of hope in the industry on the fact that he became the mainstream guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I'm stoked. That someone like that is in the spotlight, because there's so many people in the industry right now that I'm just like, can't stand and roll my eyes, and it's like someone that just makes BS lyrics that like don't matter.
You mean mumble rappers? Come on.
Well, or that do like,
and it's awful, and it's like, thank God that someone like Post is coming up and is so huge. That's such a humble person. He's writing good stuff.
Right.
Like, he can sing.
He's
that
music
dude belts.
first.
Like, I've watched his live videos. That dude is belting out those songs.
So good.
He's a good singer. People, when that White Iverson came out,
dude,
they were like, "Oh, he's just some white dude trying to rap."
Trying to be
that dude's sick. All of his stuff is awesome. I back him 100%.
Yeah.
And
his music comes first.
His albums are great. Yeah, the last record is phenomenal.
Unreal.
Maddie especially on the last tour, probably every single day blasted the record 24/7 in the bus, just nonstop, and it's good stuff.
I listen to it constantly.
I thought the tour idea with the Bud Light thing, where he did the whole like more of like rock and roll. He went to legit shithole dive bars.
Yeah. That's when Maddie saw him. That was on the dive bar.
That was so sick.
Maddie went to like a 300 cap room where Posty played.
Everyone had a Bud Light.
It was two chains.
Really?
Don't quote me on that. I think 2 Chainz was like the dude that came out, and I'm pretty sure it was 2 Chainz. I might be wrong on that, but it was.
He's great too.
He's a genius.
Maddie was just like, "Oh, I'm going to go to this post show at this like bar."
Yeah,
and of course it's sold out. And then he's just sitting side stage and like Post and 2 Chainz or whoever it was like out on stage, and he was like,
"Oh my god,
holy crap, what's happening right now?" But yeah,
he had a drummer, guitar player, and it was rad. I mean, he ran like basic tracks, but it was cool just to have that raw vibe going from like arenas that were.
Well, because he can pull it off.
Yeah, he gets it right there.
He can pull it off.
Yeah,
you know.
Sweet. You know, I mean, he's on Low Rock.
He did that. I think he did a Facebook Live of the show it was in Memphis, I believe. And yeah, it was just him, his guitar player, drummer.
So sick.
Shit's fucking slammed in that little bar.
Yeah, man.
It was super rad.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Man, I think the face tat game stepped up hard.
He's going pretty wild on that.
Stay tired.
I'll admit that, but I mean, that's another thing. He just doesn't care, dude.
At that point, do you need to give a fuck?
I mean, it's like so many people are like, you could be the poorest rapper, like super broke, and these dudes are paying everything to go in this like multi-million-dollar thing. And it's like, you know, Post does his thing. He just bought like a new Bentley, and he's doing an ad now where he's like giving it away.
He's giving away a Bentley.
It's not like he's like not showing his money, but like the dude shows up in like a t-shirt and his hair all over the place and tattoos all over the place. He's like, I don't really care, man. I'm showing up. I'm who I am, and that's another thing. I'm like, mad respect to that dude.
Yeah.
It's so interesting how like so many things I feel in the industry is like image based. Just don't have a fucking heart murmur, dude.
This one was good?
Yeah, that one's
You can have whatever
Don't
you
have
want.
a fucking heart murmur, Jake.
Yeah. That is pretty good.
This guy's loading up on 600 milligrams of caffeine.
Popping into a banger.
Get weird.
I'm already there.
Jake's just like, he'll be on his flight like, fuck. Guys, I got anxiety. He shoots us a text. My heart's going crazy.
Yeah, you fly where? To Saskatoon.
Fucking Saskatoon there, bro. Jake, you beat the skins there, man.
We got Saskatoon next, then Edmonton, Vancouver, and that's it for Canada.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I think it's just funny talking
Canada.
about like meeting people in the industry and everything, because how we met you, like we got tickets to your show and we're over at.
I think he was on Tinder.
Honestly,
I got him on Tinder. I got Jake on Tinder. I just swiped.
I'm sure I had met you guys before, but the last show when we were all at that random spot outside is when we really actually because hung out and chatted.
We went hard.
100 times better than the last one.
Because we met up. We're like, hey, we're gonna meet up at Poorhouse. We're going to meet up at Poorhouse, and they were going to all grab some drinks before the show. We're sitting there at the bar, and then all of a sudden,
and Maddie walked in. And Maddie's like, yo, what's up, Kade? And I was like, oh, holy shit. And then
Jake's like, where's my fucking mac and cheese pizza? You fucks.
But no, I think...
Oh, it's off the menu?
Don't remind me. I was just getting over the sadness of it.
He finally cooled off.
Yeah.
You guys did the show, and then
and then we hung out.
We hung out till like
us and a couple of Fire from the Gods guys.
Yeah.
All went back to that same place, and we're chilling.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It was a good time.
That was great.
I wouldn't know. Wasn't there. Thanks for the invite.
I didn't invite him.
Okay, so you were in Hawaii.
That's right. I'm not going to lie. I was in Hawaii. Doesn't suck. Have you been there?
So it's just...
Jake?
Yeah, we played a show there once. We did one show there, but we had 5 days there.
That's what's
up. It was incredible.
It's weird, though, because it's a different world there, because going there, there's only like 2 venues.
Yeah, we played at Hawaiian Brian's.
Yep, Hawaiian Brian's. That's the joint.
Yeah, we had like 3 days before and 1 after, and it was great. They had the hotels set up for us, so we just had a bunch of days to explore. Believe it or not, one of my high school buddies, Max, who I grew up with since the beginning of school, went to the military for a while and got a job out in Hawaii for a while, and he was stationed there for the time that I went out there, and the venue or our hotel was right across the street from where he lived.
Yep.
So I got to go like hang out with him, and he brought me up the mountains and like.
Did the hiking
maybe not mountains, but whatever you call it, like
it's fucking mountains.
Hiking and all that, and it was super cool. And then played the show, and it was great. So
yeah, man,
cool times.
Why is the spot? It's the jam.
Yeah,
trying to go back.
Still haven't been.
Well,
do it,
Mr. Brian. If you want to bring us back, let me know,
dude. Hawaiian Brian's, that's the joint. Yeah, so what's on? Let's fill the people's in on this new album, man. What do we need to know?
New album, new tour.
So new album. It's called Broken. It's going to kind of be a different step in our musical sound. I know a lot of people probably won't be super stoked on it. I know, like, as of the last album, there's a couple, a little bit of it was less heavy, and we've kind of gone less heavy since the begin, like, at least since the Hollow, that everybody, kind of came to love us and liked our music. And I keep telling people the same thing, is it's like, people like, why are you going softer? Like, why is the music changing? And a lot of bands that find their sound and they continue the same sound, they just they either stay right there and plateau and either stop playing, or it just doesn't work out. And I think one of my favorite things about working with the band is, especially Maddie and Kellen that are writing everything, is that, like, they're not afraid to write whatever is on their mind. Like, we could put out, this album could be like a jazz album and it would rule. Right. But they would be like totally stoked on it. They'd be like, we loved this. We're stoked on it. We're putting it out. Like, we're never worried about, like, oh man, we have to write what the fans want. And that, I don't mean any offense by saying that. Like, we of course want to write music that people are going to like, but at the same time, I feel like people are so pressured in the industry to be like, we have to stay relevant. We have to write what's cool. And they try and do it, and then they either aren't happy with it, or I feel like in that sense, like, if we were to just write what's going to be successful, it would be no different than someone that, like, has, a normal 9-to-5 job that they're not stoked on, and they're just doing it to pay the bills.
That's a good example.
And to us, we're like, we'd rather write something that we really like and we're proud of, and people maybe aren't as stoked on or like to hate on, and be stoked on it, and then go somewhere else from that. It's like, I think people think, like, once, say you change your sound for an album and people don't like it, or whatever, maybe people love it, people don't like it, people think that means your career is over. They're like, oh, they suck now, like, they're bad, they don't write good music anymore. It's like, it's just an album. We could literally the next week put out another, like, Hollow Point 2 and be like, oh, sorry, you didn't like this stuff, here's heavier stuff, and people will be like, oh, okay, never mind, they can still write that stuff. It's like, I think people think that like 100% of music is, what's the way to describe this? Like, say someone writes a song, it's like, that's their level of writing right now. Say they write a bad song, they're like, nope, they're awful now, they don't know how to write anymore. It's just like a trial, you know what I mean? Try something new. It doesn't mean that you're a bad writer or something.
We're all artists. Like, we're all trying to evolve.
People, so many bands put out an album that fans don't like, and they're like, oh, this band's done, their career's over, they suck now. It's like, they're just trying something new. You don't lose the ability to write a good song. You're just trying. And also, I'd like to say that there is no, like, good song or a bad song. It's just if you like it or not.
Right. It's all preference.
We could write, like I said, I mentioned 100%. The obscurity of writing, like, a jazz album. Like, we could write that, and of course people that like the Hollow are going to be like, this is awful. Like, what is this? But there could be a bunch of people that are like, oh man, who's this new Memphis band? And they just wrote a jazz album. I'm going to go listen to it in my car.
Totally different demographic that's like, oh my god.
So I mean, for this album, we went with, we've done the albums so similar in the last few years. Like, we did a few albums with the same producer, then we went to another producer that was, kind of similar, This Light I Hold, and we were stoked on that. We did with Matt Good. And then, like, this album, we went to a totally new producer. We did a song called Virus, kind of single standalone song.
Oh, that sounds fire.
Where Maddie and Kellen just went to this guy named Kane Churko, who the Churkos, it's father and son. They do, like, Disturbed, In This Moment, Five Finger Death Punch, like, Papa Roach, like, all the radio bands. And they're like, let's just see what it would sound like if we went to a producer that does this kind of stuff. And they went for 2 days and wrote Virus. Wow. So some people didn't like it.
Oh, I thought it was great.
Some people liked it.
Right.
And we were like, we actually didn't even plan on releasing it, but we liked it a lot, and we were like, heck yeah, let's put it out.
Right.
And we did. We played it last year on Warped Tour, and
how was the reaction?
Pretty decent.
Good.
Not too bad. It was kind of half and half. A lot of people were like, oh, what the heck is this? This isn't like the center or anything. And then some people were like, this is pretty cool. Like, I dig it. And, you know, we know Ivan from Five Finger. He's showed interest in the band. We're really good friends with Jacoby from Papa Roach. Yeah, we know a bunch of the dudes in Breaking Benjamin. And those are bands that we all look up to.
Right.
And,
well, look at their careers.
They like the band. And so it's like, if we get a response on that, but at the same time, you know, a lot of people, like I was just talking about the music industry, about like writing good and bad songs or whatever you want to call it. Say we write a song like that, people are like, oh, you're selling out, like blah, blah, blah. And what's funny about that is that like we started as a heavier band, but at the same time, people think you're selling out because we went from this heavy sound to kind of like a more radio sound. But it's like, now we're kind of now finally in the stage where we can write what we like. Like, I don't listen to heavy music. My favorite bands are like Breaking Benjamin and Chevelle and Papa Roach. So like, if I had my way, I'd be writing that music since the start. But I also like, as a drummer, playing intricate stuff and playing more stuff. But it's like, you know, I'll admit I even listen to like Nickelback stuff. It's like, I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed.
They write good songs.
I'm not ashamed to say that. And so it's like, when a band that's heavy starts writing more active rock stuff, they're like, you're selling out. And it's like, nah, dude, I'm just trying to write stuff that I actually listen to. Like, I don't listen, like, the heaviest band I maybe listen to is like A Day to Remember. So it's like, even The Hollow, I love the music and I love it that I, you know, am part of it and will play the songs, but it's like, I probably wouldn't listen to that heavy of music in general. And so like, if I write a song like Virus, I'm like, this is my jam, dude. Like, this is what I'm
saying. So here's the way
the new record is going to be a little more active rock based, and you know, I've showed you guys a couple of songs. The old Me is out now. It's on Octane and on iTunes and Apple Music, Spotify, all that. That's kind of like a good middle ground of what the album's going to be like. And you know, we're going on tour with Atreyu in the fall. And I think that's going to be a really good mix. They're putting a new album out. Actually, this tour is going to be a super banger. Because
he sips a bang.
It's Atreyu, us, and Ice Nine Kills, who are all putting out new records right before the album starts. So it's going to be
an excellent tour.
Yeah. I don't even know if that was planned or not when we got the offer.
Ice Nine's always October because they're a Halloween band. Or like they're all into that.
And they're doing amazing right now, man. They've been around, like I mentioned before we started this, they've been around for a super long time, and I've known Spencer for a bit, and actually my really good friend Patrick, who used to play in this band called Defiance, who actually, my first tour with Memphis Mayfire
he's a drummer.
Was with Defiance. They opened the tour, and he is now the drummer for Ice Nine Kills.
He crushes.
Is awesome.
He's rad.
Killer.
Yeah, he's super good.
Wow.
Yeah, we The interesting thing back to when you're talking about music, and the funny thing is we're on the similar page of like, I listen to a ton of hip hop drumming, you know, beats and whatnot, but I'm the same way. Like one of our biggest influences for our band is P. Roach. Like when you talk longevity of a career, I don't care what music you like and what's kind of answering your question. And like when you get people like the metalheads that say, oh, you know, say you're selling out, at the end of the day, it boils down to a fucking hook. Like, if I hear that hook and I'm like, and your head's bobbing, that's it, dude.
Yeah,
like, you've got that formula. And the thing is, I think so many people, a lot of the Warped Tour bands, they pigeonholed themselves to this, like, let's get heavy, gnarly, and then, oh shit, I gotta write a chorus, and then they have a problem. Where if there is no hook, dude, it doesn't matter. People want that. Like, that's what makes pop songs so mega.
A perfect example. So, like I mentioned, I like Day to Remember.
Yep.
I Prevail is a perfect example of like a good middle ground between heavy and hooks.
They're the best crossover band right now.
We've only done Warped Tour with them, but I got to know Eric and a couple of those dudes, and they're really good dudes. But it's insane because they killed. They were a brand new band, and they had a cover that did well. But it's like they were a brand new band that were heavy in the metalcore, you know, genre, but their choruses were just like pop songs. Like they had that Taylor Swift cover, but it's like all the rest of their songs were so good, and it would be this heavy metalcore song, and then all of a sudden it would just flip into this like pop chorus, and it's like they blew up and they're smashing it now. And I got to talk, like I became friends with Eric on Warped Tour last year, and it's awesome to see that. And there's not like a lot of bands. I think that's the genre that a lot of people that want to be in a big band try to strive for. They're like, okay, we need to be really heavy, but we need to have like pop choruses. And there's so many crappy bands that like try and do that don't work out. But they smashed it, and it's like, you know, that's kind of part of the reason why we wanted to maybe try something new and get into this genre instead of, you know, not that it's that new of a genre, but like kind of go more towards the active rock radio songs. And it's like the thing that gets you is that banger. And it's like, we've had, you know, like take one of our older songs like The Sinner, you know, it's super heavy song, but the chorus is what everybody knows. But it's like, that's what an active rock song is all about, is it's like, we'll try and, you know, we'll have riffy stuff, verses, but then that chorus is, it's like, that's all you need. I mean, think about, we've been talking about P. Roach. It's like, you could literally just hear the, and you'd be like, cut my life. And you'd be like, no, the whole thing. And it's like the hook, dude. I mean, that song is 10 plus years old. I don't even remember when it came out. But it's like
constantly.
You know, the whole, there's memes about it. There's like everything. And
it's timeless. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all trying to write something that's a timeless
song. If you can hear, I've always said, if you have a song that is noticeable within the first 5 seconds, it's amazing. I mean, think of like any Blink-182 song. You know, you could hear like like all the small things, or like, you know, I mean, that's my age again. I just think all of those. It's like, if you have that like 5 second timeline of, oh, that's this song.
Everyone's gonna.
I think you can hear it. Cut. And you'd be like, oh, Papa Roach.
So many bands, I think, now they're kind of coming to the realization that it doesn't matter how heavy you are, whatever. They need to write the hook, and that's where the problem comes into play. It's like, that's why I prevail. Like, I actually don't like their cover that got them big. I love their record. Like,
I never really jammed their cover too much. I just know that
I heard it and I go,
that became popular, but their songs are
sick. That record though, I'm like, okay, now
front to back.
I mean, you just like, it gets stuck in your head. I mean, they have a song. The chorus is stuck
in your head. Exactly. 3 chords. You heard that. Those 3 words. You're like, oh, I prevail song. It's great.
You see what I'm saying? And like, that's, you got it. I think, and that's the one thing too that kind of blows my mind, is like, image is important, but I think a lot of the bands were focusing on that. And these dudes look like just straight skate dudes. Like, they came out of a Tilly's or a Zoomies, like normal dudes with tattoos. And it's like, but their songs have the hook. And I think that's where it's turning. I mean, the new Asking Alexandria record.
Dude, I mean, the tour they just announced again.
It fucking slams. And
it's so catchy.
Totally different.
And look at what they're doing right now. I mean, like, they're literally on God's. They're with Godsmack and Shinedown right now. I think, or maybe they just finished it, and then they just announced Shinedown and Papa Roach, and it's like, I guarantee you, if we were to announce that tour right now, everybody would be like, wow, sellouts, like Radio Rock, so like, you guys suck, like blah blah blah.
But then you're playing to a totally new demographic.
That's great. Like, people should be stoked. Like, you know what I mean?
Quit the
hate. That's because, I mean, the normal Asking Memphis fan would be like, oh, who's Godsmack? Like, we don't, you know. That was like one of the first records I bought.
I actually like their new one. I've been listening to it. It's great. There's one song that the hook's constantly in my head.
But yeah, it's like people associate so much like different attitudes towards like the bands you tour with, or like the sounds you could be on. Like, we're all different. We could announce tomorrow, like, the old me. We could be like, oh, not that it's happening, but be like, oh, we got top 5. The old me is top 5 on active radio. Like, we're stoked. And well, of course, we'd have a lot of people being like, congrats, like, that's awesome. But then we'd be like, of course, people that are like, oh, you guys are selling out to active rock. Like, what about the metal? And it's like, come on, man, you know.
Well, nowadays, like,
we're trying to reach the biggest fan base possible. We're not like trying to tour Justin Bieber, but it's like, you know.
But that wouldn't suck, right, Jake?
I would do it.
I'd be hanging with the beads hard, dude. So when you said the part about those few fans or whoever, right? Say it's like some fucking troll on the internet that's like, oh, you sold out, Jake. You're drumming in, whatever. I also look at it like, you can take that as the negative, but the thing is, dude, you caught their attention, right? So, I mean, the hooks are huge. I mean, the music might be kind of changing slightly, but I kind of look at those people like you're creating a buzz. You know what I'm saying?
Mean, it's like, the same thing as like that's been said forever. Like, you know, what is it, like any press is good press or bad press is good press? It's like and especially now, like, I mean, social media is a nightmare now these days. Like, you could literally
has a voice.
You could the band that has the #1 spot on rock radio right now could post a YouTube video of their song, and the entire thing would be like, this sucks. And there's like, of course, I'm not hating, like, we have such good support and the best fans that like love our band and will continuously support us. But it's like, people just love to purposely hate. But what is one positive now is that, like, with the whole, especially Instagram, like the algorithm of like how much stuff shows up is based on like how many comments and stuff there is. So like, even if we post a photo that has like 1,000 comments of like, this is awful, you guys suck, like, screw you guys, it's still gonna like show up everywhere because they're spending their time commenting. And it's like, I'm so thankful that we have like such good support, and like, no matter what. And actually, the old me has had incredible response so far, and I'm so stoked on that, and people love it and have been digging it. And, you know, even to the point where we just changed our Facebook header to like a new promo of us that we just took in Chattanooga. We were over there for Kellen's bachelor party the other weekend. He's getting married.
How was that, dude?
Getting married. It was cool, man.
What did you guys do?
We went whitewater river rafting, which was the first time I've ever been. And
how was that?
Super sick.
Like, you gotta rock the helmet and shit, and like,
dude,
you
it
could
was
die.
super awesome. Like, blast. It's actually cool, and I love Kellen to death, and I'm glad that that's what he wanted to do instead of just going on like, you know, a party bender or something, which none of the guys in the band really would want to do anyways. And so he was like, bachelor party, we're gonna go hike, we're gonna go river rafting. And I was like, heck yeah, that's awesome. So we did that. But yeah, we took a new photo, and that got
I'm looking at it right now.
Put into our Facebook header.
You guys look great.
And the first like couple comments are like, you guys suck.
Why you guys look hard.
Can't believe you guys are still a band. And I'm just like, this is just a photo of us. Like, why is everybody got to hate so bad? Like, so it's.
What's crazy though is you guys will have you have the new song on Octane. The new album's going to sound a little different, but you're going to gain new fans,
man. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
awesome.
People, it's like, we love our fans, and I can't stress enough how much we appreciate like everything that's, you know, gone on in our career. But it's like, you know, eventually we just want to gain some new fans. That's all. Like,
we've been a
metalcore band for so long, and we've like, we'll do headlining tour and headlining tour and headlining tour, and numbers are good, ticket sales are good. We do meet and greets, and we meet all our fans, and it's always an extremely good time, and like, we love it. But it's like, you know, that's there. Why not like step in another direction to maybe gain some new fans? Like, say not that we are, but let's say we just did do a tour with like Five Finger Death Punch or something. Like, people would probably be bummed and be like, oh, like, why are you going on tour with that kind of band? But it's like, think about playing to 10,000 people, a couple like, you know, maybe older guys that are watching Five Finger, they're like, hey man, this new band Memphis is like pretty sick. That happened when we toured with Killswitch Engage. Our first kind of like more, they're still metal and awesome, but like, they were kind of our first like bigger metal kind of radio band that we toured with. And me and Maddie would like go hang out at a restaurant after the show, and it's like, we'd have people come up to us, like, you know, bigger tattooed dudes, and be like, hey, and we're like, what's up? Sorry, we don't want any trouble.
We don't want to fight.
And they're like, y'all set was great, man. You guys played really well. I bought all your t-shirts and I bought all your CDs. And I'm like, thanks.
That's
like,
awesome.
That's sick. That's awesome. Yeah. They're like, we'll come see you next time you're in town. And it's like, you know, that's why we did that Seven Dust tour. It was awesome. We had a bunch of these, like, once you're at that level, we realized on the Seven Dust tour that those fans are like lifetime fans. Yes. We saw their meet and greets every day, and it was all like, maybe, you know, give or take mid 40s fans that came up, and they had little kids, bringing them, and they were like, yeah, we've been listening to Seven Dust since we were young, and now I'm bringing my kids. And I'm like, these guys have been listening to Seven Dust for 20 years, and they're now bringing their children to see them, who are now going to keep listening to Seven Dust.
Continues through generations.
They can tour until they can't tour anymore because they've made a fan base that's so well loved, and like they love the band so much that they're going to continue. And it's like, why would we not want to gain some? Why would we not want to get some fans like that? We would love that. You know what I mean? Nowadays, scenes and fads end so quick. It's like, this band's cool, done. This band's cool, done. It's like, we would love to get those fans that are, lifetime fans. And I think we've done well to gain a lot of fans like that. Like we've had like a MMF family that I think even has some like social media pages now that they all link together. And we've known these fans since they were like 13, 14. And we even met on the last tour. They came out to some shows. A couple fans that were like, yeah, I'm in college now. And we're like, you graduated high school? Like,
that's right.
What? And they're like, yeah.
Well, they're continuing to follow you through your
career. Cool. You're like, I feel like I've been with you since your childhood. And it's like, and I'm not even 30 yet, and I've had fans that we've known for years, and it's
a family.
Really cool seeing. I
mean, why wouldn't you want to continue like creating music and have fans just grow with you?
I mean, and it's incredible.
That's ultimate.
So we want them to stay with us, on the same page of getting new fans.
I got something for you. I got some hot dish coming your way.
We're looking at the photo that you were just talking about.
I'm not gonna lie, it's not a bad pick. The guys look good. If I saw it, I'd be like, they're a fucking band. Okay, done deal. So I'm gonna read some of these comments. Not directed anything at the lovely Jake over here, but most of it, to be real with you, dude, I'm looking at this from the outside going in, it's a lot of bullshit where, like, what's funny is there's a couple, like, shitty comments, but, like, these guys are still a band, ? But the best part is then you click that dude's page and he's flexing in the mirror as his profile. Right?
Like, so, you have any...
I'm like,
come on, bro.
But, I mean, for the most part, it's not bad. They kept asking about Sam. They're like, where's the other guitar player? And it's so funny with promo pics. They think, like, they're only rolling with one guitar player. It's like, no, they have another dude.
I really enjoyed Sam. He's
Sam's
a great guy.
Man. He's been awesome.
He's hilarious.
He's on full time with us.
I love this
incredible
band.
Player, good dude.
Love the new single. These guys are fucking sexy.
All right, well, that's good. I mean, I got the notification when it went up, so I only saw a couple comments which were like,
I got you. There's a couple of curveballs in here. I mean, but dude, at the end of the day, what I always say is, it's all about, with anything you do in life, if it's doing a podcast, clothing brand, you're drumming, you're in a band, it's consistency. If you're not consistent with what you're doing, like if you guys, the cool thing is you can do whatever the fuck you want. But if you dropped a hip hop record, I'd question some shit. I'd be like, okay, you're going.
Well, we did talk about Maddie maybe rapping.
I mean, full board, and that might be sick, right? But the thing is, it's the cool part is you're going for shit. And I think that's where people get put in the mold. Right. And to be honest, that fan that probably bashes you, they're not even actually a fan. So it's like, cool, whatever. Everyone has their opinion, but like you said, the whole story where you had these guys growing up from high school to college, dude,
it's a long time.
We've had people that listen to our band from 2 records
previous
ago,
that we were in it. You know, we posted a photo. A band photo. This is probably a year ago, and the hate, and it's like, oh, real original, wear black.
Oh, you know what they said? They're like, you guys fucking work out? Like, where's the protein shakes? I'm like, okay, I didn't think that was. It looked like a ball of shit.
I didn't realize
that's a good one. But
like working out's bad. Look like shit. I don't know.
Yeah, man. I think
you can't win, but believe in your own band and be what we say is like, your biggest fan of music should be you. What you do.
And if it's not, you're fucking up, because you should be the biggest fan of your shit.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And I mean that literally goes perfectly hand in hand with what I was talking about earlier about being stoked on what you write. It's like, I would rather write a song that no one, like me personally, maybe not giving the rest of my band's opinions, but I would rather write a song personally that nobody likes and they're like, this song sucks, but I liked it, then write a song that has no meaning to me just to be popular.
Exactly.
And I would like, if I wrote a BS song that was like some sweet metalcore, like top radio song that everybody was like, oh my God, this is the best thing Memphis has ever written. Like, I wouldn't get satisfaction in that if I didn't. And I would like it because I did write it, but like if it's not something that I would really like personally
you
listen
have your
to,
heart into it.
Yeah, but if I wrote like some, I could write like, say we wrote like another kind of Miles Away jam, or like the song that I showed you earlier, the Heavy Is the Weight song.
Yeah,
so good. Something that I could write like that. Mm-hmm. I love that. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's a pretty simple song. It's not even like, I don't need to be playing like these crazy drum parts. Like something just simple, man, that's jamming and I'm like stoked on it. I'm like,
it's all about the groove.
That's
vibe.
My jam. I love that. And people could be like, I hate it. And I'm like, I don't care. I liked it.
Yeah, you gotta think about it.
We'll please you on the next record.
Yeah. You're the ones that are, when you're on tour and everything, you have to play the music.
Yeah,
it's just like hating your job. If you go up there hating what you're playing,
the 9 to 5 comment was good. That was a good one.
It'd be absolutely miserable going up and playing shows night after night and just not enjoying what you're playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny too, like the listening ear. Like you were just talking about, like drumming, right? So a lot of the stuff that like I do, I mean, you do some techie shit, but a lot of the stuff when we record, it's more of like the average listener though. It's cool, like the prog metal, like dope. You're fucking crush, but no one, the average ear isn't like, oh, that triplet fills fucking wicked. They're like, I want the boom, God, like something to like groove to.
Yeah, I want to bob my head. Yeah, and I want to sing when the hook comes in.
Just 4 to the floor the whole time.
I mean, you know what I mean? We were talking about the thing we record that old record. It's like, dude, sometimes the biggest choruses are just the fucking stomp.
Boom, boom, ka.
Even though you do ridiculous fucking
fills
like triple a psycho. Kick. Yeah. But I love what I heard, man. The record's going to be sick.
I appreciate it. And, I'm stoked on it. I think it's going to be cool. We're doing the tour in the fall with the Treyu. It's going to be a solid one. I'm excited about that in general. Just
anything else?
I've been a Treyu fan for a long time.
Nostalgic.
Me and Brandon have been kind of like internet friends for a while and kind of chatted over Instagram and stuff like that. And met him one time on Warped Tour and just like, quick handshake, what's up? So I think it's going to be really cool to finally tour and get to kind of hang out because he's been a drummer I've looked up to for a long time.
That's super cool.
You know what's interesting? Singing and drumming. I don't know if I could do it. I can drum.
I did it in my first band, Broadway. I did it a little bit like backup stuff, like just in choruses, like, woes and woes. But it's like, during a part that's just like,
Yeah, you can do that.
I mean, some of the Atreyu stuff, he's like,
he's full belt, man.
Oh, it's dude.
And I'm like,
I don't know how he does it. And he's so consistent.
And he's
there's no like,
he's got such a cool voice too. I'm really stoked to hang out and do that tour. I think it's gonna be fun.
Maybe
I'll try and sneak in a favor.
We can wrap it up then.
Are you sure? I mean, I got a jet, but anything you want to close with?
Yeah. Do you want anything else you want to plug? Yourself, your Instagram, all that good stuff.
Yeah, Instagram. Feel free to follow me. It's Jake_Garland. Band is just Memphis Mayfire on all social media. New album Broken coming out next month. Tour with the Treyu and Ice Nine Kills starts next month. Also beginning of the month. And
we'll throw all your guys' your links.
I'm really stoked, man. It's a good schedule for the rest of the year, and happy to be here. I appreciate you guys having me on, chatting.
Yeah, for sure.
Always.
And
thanks for coming.
Next time we come through, we'll do some more chats.
I'll tell you this: next time you come through, that fucking pizza won't be around. But hey,
I didn't even get it this time.
I'm gonna talk to them.
Yeah, we'll hit them up for you. But dude, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
Happy to.
All right, well, thanks everyone for tuning in. And if you guys have any questions for us, if you guys have any questions for Jake, we can relay them to him and he can answer them. Send us an email at it's podcast@ironandinkfitness.com. Follow Iron and Ink Fitness on Instagram at Iron and Ink Fitness. Jeff's Instagram, we'll put all the links below at Jeff Baustert, JeffBaustert. Kade is at Kade Katz, and myself is at Alec Robinson _ because some asshole took at Alec Robinson.
Fuck that guy.
But yeah, we'll put all the links for Jake and for Memphis and everything.
Thank you, Jake, for that beautiful drum roll.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for swinging by. It was nice seeing you again, dude.
Yeah, of course, man. Great to see you guys.
Thanks for the hangs.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Cheers, guys. Hit the music, Adam. All right, thanks.